Mr. Ed here, and today is September 28th, 2024, Saturday. And this entire week I have been doing one of my most distasteful jobs as a beekeeper, at least keeping the bees for the monks here at the Abbey, and that is going into all of our outyards as well as here at the Abbey and finding the hives that have died out and then bringing those hives back here to the Abbey and cleaning up the mess that is left behind from the wax moth and the beetles. Yeah, it's not a job I look forward to, finding the dead outs, but it's one that's always going to be there. And as you all know, I do not treat for mites or do any kind of really feeding of the bees or taking care of them as evidence of how high the grass grows around the beehives. But in spite of my shortcomings as a beekeeper, I still have a great love for the bees, and my philosophy on keeping bees is that of a hands-off beekeeper. And so the losses that I incur with our bees, you know, it's pretty much comparable to everybody else's losses. Roughly about 25–28% per year is what mine are. And you know, it's losses that I make up with making splits, doing removals, as well as catching swarms. So this week, as I was going through doing all those boxes, bringing them back into the Abbey, I'm checking on all of our hives, right? Well, so back, I can't remember when it was, early part of this year, Charlie and I did a removal of an open air colony, a huge open air colony up in Folsom. And I brought the bees back and I transferred them into my laying hives here at the Abbey. And they were just rocking and rolling. They just were doing great. And every time the hive I placed on the back porch of the honey house, because I really like seeing this hive. And I'd go out there and I look at it almost every time that I'm here. So I kept an eye on this hive pretty good. And then last week I noticed there weren't quite so many bees on the front of it. Usually it's just full of bees on the front, bearding on the front of it. And yesterday when I came back to the Abbey with my dead outs, I went back there, my curiosity was up, went back there and I opened up the box and there are hardly any bees in there at all. So what I want to do today is go into this hive and see what's left of it, and hopefully that I'm getting inside of here before the moths or the beetles can destroy everything. And with any luck I'll be able to take whatever honey that they've been able to store in there, and then I'll be able to harvest that, and hopefully we'll get that on the video. So by the grace of God, I'm going to go into that box and find whatever is in there, and then we'll try to make the best out of what we got. So I'm here waiting to walk up there. In fact, let me show you. There is the hive right there, and you can see yesterday I put a piece of tape on the entrance of it so as not to allow any robbers to get inside of it, because robbing is going on. So let's open this box up and find out exactly what's going on inside of it. But I separated this out yesterday because normally what I do is when I open the lid, there's a screen on the back side of this following board, and I just look inside of here to see the condition of the hive. And every time I come in here, I've got bees all the way out to here. And so this is not normal at all. So let's find out right now exactly what the condition is of this hive. I know it's not going to be good. Here's our first frame right there. I'm just going to put this stuff into my little ice chest right here. And there's second frame. Yeah, they did build the comb, but they didn't build it like I would hope that they would build it. They didn't build it all nice and straight. Third. I'm definitely not happy how they built this comb, but the bees will do what they want to do when they build their comb. And as I didn't have any kind of foundation or anything in this stuff, you can only kind of expect that to have happened. This piece I'm going to pull out because it'll break off otherwise. Beautiful piece of comb though. And here's our third. And it's a lot of honey in here. Golly. I tell you what, these bees did a fantastic job of building comb and storing honey. Look at this. My goodness. Some more that just broke off. Oh, I'm so glad that this honey has not gone to the beetles, and I don't see any moss in here yet. Let's see what this one looks like now. This frame was a full frame. I didn't even have a divider in this one. So this comb, they built it all cattywampus. And so now I gotta struggle to get it out of here. My goodness, it's a full sheet of honeycomb. And I know those bees are going to start robbing. I got to work fast. Look at the size of this honeycomb right here. Oh, my goodness. That's a lot of honey. A lot of honey. The next one's the same way. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to have to bring this inside because I already filled up that ice chest. Oh man. I guess looking back now, I should have put starter strips or something inside of these frames to prevent the bees from building this comb all cattywampusy. Look at that. Look at this. God, that is a frame of honey right there. It's like every one of these frames, they built the top of it over, and then they followed the frame itself. Which, had I put a starter strip in there, I'm sure I would have avoided that situation. It's very disheartening to lose this hive. Golly. What a producer. I'm going to have to get both of these out at the same time because it just won't come. Look at that. So you can see this is the start of hive beetles right there. Man, oh man, oh man. There's one of them right there. So this particular frame now, I'm not going to be able to. That one's just going to have to get robbed out because I'm not going to fool with that. Now the one behind it, that one's even questionable. And I'm not opposed to having all the bees rob this stuff out. I'm not. Let's look at the rest of the hive. So that, I mean, again, you can see the wetness of that comb, and I see all the beetles marching around. So even though the maggots may not have hatched out yet, I know they're in there. I know they're in there. That's another one. Oh, another one. So you can see it's just so sad, so sad. And you know what was the actual demise of the hive? My speculation: a failing queen. The number of bees died out. Wasn't enough to protect the colony. The beetles were given freedom to roam around, and once that happens, they start laying, and it's all over after that. So, and you did see not one speck of brood in any of this. So it's definitely a queen issue. And that could have been mites that brought down the queen, but whatever the reason, there's not a bee in here. So all of this honey is just going to be left out here for the bees to rob out. So who knows, by the end of the video we might be able to get a picture of a bunch of bees feeding on the back porch right here, because I know they're going to be out here shortly. And here is a picture of the frames. I got 6 frames, 7 frames out of here. Now I'm going to bring all this stuff inside the honey house, and now we are going to crush and strain it. I use the crush and strain method. That is, just take the comb and just crush it up with my hands and just let it drain through this big old large coffee colander into the bucket below. And on this bucket down here, I've got a gate right there. So I can then, once all this stuff the honey's been gone through the coffee filter, then I can open up that gate and run it through a regular strainer filter to remove any of the wax, because there'll be a lot of wax, smaller pieces of wax in there, and then I'll get the clean honey. So I'm just going to start initially by cutting out the comb from the frame. knife and kind of chop this stuff up, just so it'll be a little bit easier for me to press out. This honey right here, it's not going into the gift shop. This honey, because this is really my hive, this honey is going to my house. So this is my honey. Tempted to take a big old piece of this stuff and pop it into my mouth. And I probably will be doing that shortly. I like it alone. Man, this stuff is really very good, very good. Got a great taste. All right, I've got that batch chopped up good enough, so I'm gonna put on. So I'm just gonna start squeezing it using my hands. This is what it looks like when I've finished squeezing all that honey out of that comb. And it really does drain quickly. It really does, surprisingly quickly. And in the bottom of our bucket, there it is down there. Well, you can see how beautiful color that is already. I couldn't even tell you how much honey is in there, but it's going to be a lot. And you can see it dripping down. With those frames done, let's move over to these frames and get these done. And it's time to get busy again, cleaning out some of this wax, huh? Man, oh man, oh man. Like it's a little bit. I guess if you want to see it, come out here. That's a really good job. That is a beautiful piece of comb right there. Oh, I can't even lift it up. Man, that thing is heavy. All right, I got a bunch in here, so let me go ahead and clean this stuff up because I don't want to add more on top of this. It'll just make it harder to strain through. So this stuff, I don't even have to chop this stuff up because it's so soft. It's just gonna crumble up. It just crumbles. That's the beautiful part about this new comb as opposed to that dark comb. This stuff is just putty in your hands. I should say honey in your hands. was short work, for sure. Let's get this next. I'll just pull it out instead of using the knife, since my hand is already soaking wet. This is the last frame that I got. That thing is heavy. Beautiful. Man, look at that. Gosh. I'll get the knife and clean these things up now. Good enough. And now I can go ahead to squeeze this stuff in here. All right, that's the end of that. I'm going to grab the camera and show you what it looks like in here. You would think that there would be a bigger pile of wax in there, but once you get it crushed up, it doesn't amount to a lot. And all this stuff will be draining tonight and tomorrow, and on Monday I'll show this stuff again, what it looks like, because on Monday I'll go ahead and put all this stuff out for the bees to clean up. Now I am going to take the frames and this ice chest and sit that outside right now, as well as this ice chest right here. But oh yeah, let's take a look and see how much we got underneath the bucket. There you go. It's a dripping. I'm guessing I'm going to get at least 2 gallons of honey out of all this. Maybe more, who knows. I guess we'll find out come Monday, huh? It's Monday morning now, and I want to show what is now left from the bees feeding on all of the honey that I left in there. And man, what's so nice about what I see already is that had I left this honey in here, all this by now Monday would have been filled with beetle maggots. And as you see, that is not the case. It's not. So that worked out very, very well. Now, the only thing that I'm going to be doing with this stuff is cutting all of this wax out of here. and using it to melt it down. And there's the evidence of all the robbing that went on. One thing I'll say about the robbing process, I came out here like 2 hours after I opened all this stuff up, and you saw the bees at the beginning of the video working on robbing all that stuff out. And within 2 hours, I bet you 85% of that stuff was gone. The weight of these frames was next to nothing, and now there's nothing in them at all. It's just a sad sight to lose the hive, and it's just part of keeping bees. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of that comb out of there, and we're going to add that to the rest of the wax. Let's go inside right now and check on how the crushing and straining that I did on Friday, what that looks like. And here is all the wax that is left after I crushed the honey out of it. And you can see how dry, how much of that honey passed through here. And what I'm going to do now is take this big old colander on my filter, and I'm going to set this outside, let the bees start getting all of this honey that's left on here. Let them start working on that. I just want to break it up a little bit to make it easier for them to have access to it. And at that point, put it outside, and I'm telling you, it won't take them this afternoon. By this afternoon, it'll all be cleaned up, but I'm sure we're going to get a nice little video of the bees feeding on this stuff. Now, what's underneath here? Look at that. Ooh, wee. Now that's a lot of honey in there. Guessing, I'm going to say that's in at least 2 gallons of honey in there. Let me get outside and put this outside for the bees to feed on it, and then I'll come inside and we are going to run that honey through a filter and find out just how much honey we got from it. When I decided I was going to put the cappings out here, not capping, but the comb out here from the honey, I decided, well, at the same time, I may as well go ahead and clean up all these frames over here. And this is all the comb that I got out of there. All this is going to go into that big block of wax that I'm going to be making. I'll probably start making it tomorrow because I'm going to let the bees finish cleaning out that wax over there. But for right now, let's get inside and find out just how much honey we got and strain that stuff out. There's my setup. I have my bucket with my strainer right here. The box with all the honey in it, the gate right here. And let's open it up and start getting this honey to come out. All of the honey has been emptied from the tank. The tub, and here is what was collected in the first tray. A bunch of wax. And then in the bottom tray, hardly anything. So these two trays right now, let me go set them outside for the bees to clean up. But before that, look at the honey. That's actually more than 3 gallons of honey. And I thought I was just going to get 2. Oh my goodness. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Well, that's all the work I'll be able to get done on the video today, because now the next step will be taking our wax and actually running it through the kettle and getting it going. So let's go ahead and taste what we got here. It actually tastes better than the first time I tasted it. Maybe because there's no wax in it. All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, good morning. And today is the day we are going to be melting all of this wax that I have been collecting over this last week. And as you can see, I have quite the assortment. All this wax that is in this garbage can, this is all scraped off of foundations as I was going through the dead outs. This wax right here, well, you all remember this one. This is the comb that I crushed all the honey out of and put out the feed for the bees yesterday. And I mean, 24 hours, it's not even 24 hours, but some 24 hours later, look how dry. There's no more honey in any of that stuff. And in this box, some more wax from dead outs from this year. And in this box right here, this is all of the comb that was cut off of the frames from that layings hive. And in this bag right here, it was some more. Actually, this bag was from a hive, a dead out hive out in the field. The bees had gone underneath the hive and built comb underneath there, and this is all the comb that is in there. So quite a bit of wax that needs to get into the kettle, and the kettle is all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting all of this stuff into the kettle. I don't even think it's all going to fit, but we'll see. It's now about 20 hours after I melted all that wax, and this is what I typically get after the wax. Most of the wax has come out and I just let it sit, and I don't like letting this stuff drip into my main block. I just catch it in another pail. So this is all the stuff that dripped out from the wax slowly over that period of time. And the inside of the kettle, here's what it looks like, with everything pretty much all gone, all the wax gone from all that cocoons and all the other trash. There's a little bit of wax down the bottom right there, and then in the throat right here. But I'm going to get all this stuff cleaned up, and here is the block of wax that we got, and I'm going to take this outside right now and dump it out. Alright, here we go. It shouldn't have any trouble coming out of here, and I'm seeing, oh, that water is just filthy dirty. This block should just fall right out. Very nice, very nice. Let me clean it off a little bit. And look, look at that beautiful block of wax. Now that, I mean, I can't believe how clean it is in spite of how dirty everything was. Let's go ahead and wash this thing up and close out this video. It's never a good thing to lose one of your hives. And still, in spite of the fact that the hive died I was still able to manage to get some good benefit out of it. And I did leave a lot of honey in the box on those frames that was robbed out, but I still managed to squeeze out 37 pounds. That's over 3 gallons of honey that I got from it. And I know not all the wax came from this hive. It was from a bunch of other wax as well. And we still managed to get a block, an 8-pound block of wax out of that thing. Good smelling wax as well as that. So that's all I got for you in this one. Thanks so much for watching. Keep on watching, and I will be making more. God bless. Mr. Ed, I am out of here until the next video.